everyone, welcome back to Richard's Toy Room. Well, yes, you read it right. It's Megopalooza. These are all of the Megos that I've purchased that I am going to open. Pretty much every one of these I have duplicates of, and that's most of the reason why I don't mind opening them. I don't know why, just I'm not alone in the keeping them in the package thing. I know it's not like they're going to be worth a mint or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, for some reason I just kind of like them that they're still in the package, and so, you know, it makes a kind of a neat background to the display anyway. So anyhow, being that a lot of these went on clearance or on sale, I was able to pick them up for quite a discount. I didn't even count to see how many I have here, but there's got to be at least somewhere between, I'd say, 15 and 20 figures here. So we are going to open up every one of these, and I'm going to review each figure and give my opinion on them, like I do on a lot of these unboxing videos. So anyway, what we got here is a range from the very first, let me find one here. Oh, here we go. The very first wave to, I think I have one here from some of the latest waves. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure if I have one from the very latest wave, but I know I got some from this year anyway, you know, like the Farrah, and there's like Nosferatu in here, and the Invisible Man. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, I don't think I bought any of the most current wave doubles yet. So, let's get on with it. Okay then, in no particular order, I just piled them up over on my right here, and we'll just start opening them, and we'll go through each one. So this is Norm Peterson from the 3-figure Cheers release. This was from, I think he was wave 1, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of the easiest way you can tell wave 1s is the bottom of the card is rounded, because I'll just grab one here to show you, or compare them. You can see they improved the bubble on the subsequent releases because these wouldn't stand up very well, whereas these will, if you want to display them like that. So anyway, that's a kind of just an easy way to ID them real quick if you weren't sure. Not that it really matters. Anyhow, back of the card just shows the 3 characters they're going to release from the Cheers line, and it says collect them all, pretty much. These are from last year. I suppose I could cut through the bubble to get them out, but it's almost just as easy to just run your finger under and release the glue. It's not like I'm really planning on putting them back in. Now this one at least does not have an inner coffin box, which I've noticed on some of the later ones they started doing. So let's see, we've got a mug which has Cheers embossed in it, and some frothy beer painted on the top. Let's see if you can actually hold it. Well, I'll be darned. Look at that. So you get points for that, Mego. Now there's one thing I noticed. I opened up the I Dream of Jeannie set, and of all my figures, and you've probably seen quite a few of them in the background, of all my figures, the only ones that would keep falling over were the 2 new Mego ones, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, I literally have hundreds of figures, and rarely will one topple over. You know, maybe if, you know, some vibration set up or whatever happens, you know, all the boxes tick just right and one will tip over. But that's very rare. But those damn new Megos, every time I turned around, they would flip over. They'd always tumble over. And I figured out that I believe what the problem was, at least on the male figure, was the ankle joints were too loose. And as you can kind of see here, I'm barely touching this. And they're not a very tight joint. Now this one's a little tighter. So it might be, it just might be a figure-to-figure problem. Because he seems to be standing up pretty good. He's on the fat body. Now I haven't taken any of these apart to kind of see what their difference is from the original Megos. I mean, besides, you know, the obvious stuff like the Velcro closures, which Mego never used. At least none that I can recall. He has a sewn-in tie, painted on buttons. And once again, for some reason, I don't know what the problem is with these new figures, but the shoulders are almost impossible to move the arms up. It's like a pretty bad design, and I don't know if it's the plastic or if it's the way that they've got them strung, you know, the rubber bands. But anyway, that's an issue. And of course, thing I keep forgetting to mention, the heads, the way they've attached on the new Mego bodies are totally different than the originals, so they're incompatible with the swapping over. You'd have to make new pegs, or new neck plugs, posts or whatever for them, if you wanted to use them on an original Mego body. But the clothes and everything fit the same. They're all the same size in that respect. But anyway, that's Norm from Cheers, and he's pretty good. I like him. Now, some of these figures that I'm opening, I may just display, you know, like in front of the other ones that I have in the package already. Or I might use them for customizing other figures. And I've already done that with a Tootie that I bought a spare one on clearance, and I dressed her up in a Dynamite pajamas outfit, and you'll probably see that at some point later when I get around to doing videos of that stuff. But anyway, let's move on. Speaking of Tootie, here's her friend Joe, and don't ask me to pronounce that Polish last name. I think it's, if I remember right from the show, it's Polnicek, but that's quite a mouthful there. And the back, nothing big, just basically has a trivia question. Where did Facts of Life come from? Different strokes. And Joe, Tootie, and Blair are the figures they planned on making from this series, and that is what they ended up making from the Facts of Life. Now, Joe, actually, I kind of like this figure. And I still am not sure what I'm going to use her for. I don't know if she's going to go on display or if she's going to become custom fodder. But let's take a look, see what we got. Now, she has a little coffin box in there. And she comes with a notebook, which is kind of stuck in here. It's taped in here, but the tape is wanting to take the sticker off the notebook, so I'm trying to get it off without ruining it. Okay, success. Now, I figured maybe with these Facts of Life extras that I'm opening up, I don't know if I end up displaying them as Facts of Life, I'll probably just put the notebooks in their arm. But if I use them for something else, like I did the Tootie, I will probably just put these in one of my play sets that are on display, like maybe on a end table or something, or maybe have somebody else holding it. But you get that, and here she is out of her little coffin. She has clear rubber bands holding her hairstyle in. You can see there. She's got like a ponytail. And she's got some bangs, which are kind of getting a little flyaway there. Which, you know, you gotta find the right figure. That's why I usually like buying these things in the store, because, for example, I got this one on clearance online, or on sale or whatever, and her eyes are a little messed up, which is a big problem with these early figures. Of course, if you're a collector, you know that. So let's see. Now I did take a look at the Tootie body when she was the first female new figure besides the genie that I opened up, and I actually took the clothes off of the Tootie one because I was dressing her in another outfit, and I got a chance to see what the difference is between the original Mego body and this new body. And actually, I kind of like some of the things they did with this. I don't like that they replaced the neck with this static post, because it doesn't give you a lot of movement in her neck. But then again, it also looks a lot better than the older one too, because that always looked kind of weird to me, like they had like these giraffe necks in a way. But anyway, she's got a like a heat pressed emblem on her little vest here. She comes with a necktie that's just, you know, tied around her neck and under her collar. It's not sewn in or anything. She has a white shirt and a skirt, and she has painted on panties and painted on knee socks, and then black sneakers. But they are strung different than the original, and like these have pins like the other male bodies, whereas the original figures did not have these pins that showed on them. And of course they're strung a little different because the neck is not strung along with the rest of the body. There was a rubber band that went all the way down to the waist for the that held the torso to the waist. There's like a 3-piece torso in the female figures, and this does not have that. So that's a little bit of an improvement in some ways too. And her arms seem to be a little bit more tighter. The only thing I really hate, and I still hate, I hate the hands on the female figures. I wish they would improve them somehow. They're kind of useless and small and tiny. But Jo as a figure, I like her. Oh, let's see. How about, grab Chachi. Now, this one is a little bit of a surprise. Now, when this was first announced, the first figure was Fonzie, and they also had Richie, but not Chachi. They originally announced that it was going to be Pinky Tuscadero, which would be kind of a cool figure to have. I mean, kind of a surprise, really, because you wouldn't really expect them to make a figure of that character. But then they changed that before it even came out, and they changed it was going to be Joni. And then for some reason they changed that and became Chachi. So I'm not sure what happened there. I've never heard the story on why it changed 3 times. But we ended up with Chachi instead. And Chachi comes with a ice cream soda and a bandana around his upper thigh there. So let's see what else Chachi has. Alright, so this Chachi does have a inner coffin box. He's not tied to it. The soda is not taped in or anything. Nothing special about that, really. The bandana looks to be simply tied around his legs there, or leg. He's got rubbery version of Action Jackson's baseball shoes. He has a denim jacket with fake buttons and fake holes for the buttons, with no snaps or anything, or well, no closures, I should say. Then he has a wife beater black t-shirt on, and I guess that's supposed to be a belt buckle or something there. I mean, you know, they put a little bit of detail into it. I mean, it's nice. Now, as far as it looking like Scott Baio, not quite seeing it there. I mean, if he wasn't in the package, I don't know if that I'd call it Scott Baio. More like maybe Ricky Martin from Menudo. Anyway. But, you know, actually he even looks kind of like Paul McCartney. Anyhow, let's see. Will he hold the soda? Well, yeah. Yeah, he can hold it. I mean, if you hold a soda way down at the bottom like that. Stands up fine. Oh. Now, this arm moves nice, not all tight like they usually are in this one. But I also heard like the metal part snap out of the joint when I did that, but it went back in. That's just seems to be the only issue with these. Chachi from Happy Days. Alright, how about Samantha from Bewitched? Now this figure, I like the idea, and I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like that it doesn't look anything like Elizabeth Montgomery. It just happens to look like Elizabeth Montgomery by chance. It's, I believe, a Supergirl head, original Mego Supergirl head, that they repurposed with the new hairdo and stuff for being Bewitched. And then they give you the cat from the animated part of the beginning of the show. And on the back, you see that's what the Bewitched looks like at the beginning of the show as well. Now, on this one, she was the only figure that came on a card. And the other 2 figures in what Mego seems to have done in this first year was the Target waves were 3 figures per series. It would have been nice if they would give you a Darren. Now, obviously, this is more aimed at the likeness of the animated, and that's how they got around the licensing which was also another big problem with Mego's return, was all their figures were kind of, you know, kind of sneaky when they were putting them out, because they put out characters like Samantha instead of Elizabeth Montgomery's likeness as Samantha. And then they didn't have to pay as much for the rights to use the character as much as they would have had to for the actress. But I don't know if they would have sold any better or not, because it seems like they made a lot of bad choices in that first year, and Target just didn't help things with the way they were distributing things. But anyhow, let's open this. Samantha has a little coffin box because she's not of the very first wave. And you get this little cat thing that does absolutely nothing. It's a statue. It has no movement in it at all. Nothing on the backside. It stands, but it's pretty flimsy. I don't know. I'd rather they left the stupid cat out and paid a little bit more and gave us Elizabeth Montgomery's likeness. Now this is obviously a reused hat from The Wicked Witch. And they also cheaped out a little bit on the reissue by not giving you a string. There's no holes like the original. That would have had a string to go up or down around her chin. But again, that's nothing new with this new Mego stuff. A lot of it is cost cutting, cost saving, whatever you want to call it. So, not sure where they... I guess this is a new outfit. It doesn't look reused from anything that I can remember. It's not Wicked Witch's outfit. It's very sheer, very thin. I mean, you can see through it. It doesn't seem to fit very well. See, the other issue with these, what they should have done on these female figures, since they were going with redesigning them without the separate neck, was they should have made the neck a little longer, because they almost look like they're shrugging their shoulders because their neck's too short. I think they would look a little better with a little more neck. They look a little weird, almost like they have no neck, and that's almost what it looks like looking at them. But I get the feeling she's not going to stand up too well. She's got high heel shoes on, which just barely fit. I mean, they look like they could fall off any second if they weren't like tight. But I'm kind of getting the feeling she's probably not going to stand up too well. Well, amazingly, she does stand up. Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, let's see. Her hat. It basically just sits on her head. It doesn't go down. Another reason why the string would have been a nice touch. So that's basically just going to sit on her head when you put her on display, if you're going to display her like this. And as you can see, it falls right off because it doesn't fit her head, especially with all her hair. Maybe if she had no hair it would fit, or if you push it down real hard, but I still don't think it's going to stay on. But overall, I'd give her a 8 out of 10. I kind of like her, except for the things I pointed out. Here we go. This was a hard figure to get when it first came out. The Gorn from Star Trek. It was a very highly anticipated and wanted figure, and it was always sold out online. It was very hard to find in the stores. You were lucky if you found them in the stores. Now me, I just happened to luck out. This was the only time that I found Wave 2 stuff, or at least up till that time, in any of the stores. I went to a Target and I asked the guy to look in back, and he brought out a sealed case, box, whatever you want to call it, of 6 figures, and that just happened to be Samantha, Frankenstein, and the Gorn, 2 of each. So I just bought the whole box, and I kept the spare. I sold the Frankenstein to my friend Russ, and he didn't want the Gorn, so that's this one. I'm going to open it. The other one's still sealed, and I opened up the second Samantha here. So let's see if this Gorn lives up to the hype. Oh, you might want to see the back. Gorn, Romulan Commander, and Sulu was in this wave. Or, yeah, this, well, not wave, but this series. Now, he does have the coffin card, or coffin insert, and he's not adhered to it in any way. Right. Now he has a really nice looking outfit. He comes with the red phaser and communicator, that same mold as all the other Star Trek phaser communicators, which kind of doesn't make much sense because he's not of the Federation. He's got pretty cool looking sculpt. He's got a belt that is sewn into the uniform, and they've hidden the phaser belt underneath it. He's got 2 cuffs on his arms that are just slid on, so they would come off. Jointed. Ankles are not jointed, but the wrists are. Again, the same problem as all the figures. It's hard to lift his arms up. I mean, you almost feel like you're going to break something. Now, he's pretty cool. I love him. Good job, Mego. Yes, you heard me say it. Good job, Mego. Out of all the figures that I've just opened, he's probably my favorite so far anyway. How about Blair? Blair Warner from The Facts of Life. Again, another clearance character that I picked up. Nothing different on the back than you saw on the Joe figure. In fact, she's pretty much the identical figure to Joe, except for the head. But we'll open her up anyway, since that's what we're doing here. She has a little coffin box, not tied in, but we know that the book is. So we won't spend a lot of time on Blair here. She is pretty much, like I said, she's exactly the same as the Joe figure, same good and bad as the Joe figure. She has, her hair is kind of pushed back to her back and kind of in a, sort of a Farrah Fawcett-y kind of wave. But there's not a whole lot you can do with it, because I think once you start trying to take it apart, it's going to look all kind of messy, really. But I guess you could probably, I'm not good at doing the female's rooted hair. They usually look worse when I get done. But there you go, there's Blair. How about Farrah Fawcett? Now, Farrah is like one of my favorite actresses of all time. Loved Charlie's Angels when I was a kid. I actually have the original poster, this poster, that they give a little facsimile of down here, and we'll see that when we open this up. But I just had to get one of these just to open it up. And on the back, they just show that same picture of Farrah. Now, if they knew they were going to do Farrah, I guess maybe that's why they didn't do Jill from the Charlie's Angels line. But then again, she would have been the only one that actually looked like the character that they were making, so that would have been a little disappointing to just have one that looked like the character and then the rest of them that generic sculpt. But this is basically a figure based on this poster. And they also did the original Farrah Fawcett doll back in the 70s, the 12 or 13 inch, whenever it was, fashion doll, which was a very big seller, very popular doll. My sister had it, in fact. Okay, now this one's a little different. She does have the coffin box, but her accessories are on the back. Now the blanket that matches the background blanket from the poster is taped to the back of the box here. And she is, well, here's the facsimile of the poster. It's just a little gumball size cardboard, but that's kind of neat. And she is actually attached in here in more than one place with those little plastic stretchy clips that the 14-inch figures are held in with. I'm going to have to get something to cut her out of here because I can't break these with my hand. Okay, there we go. Now that's the first one I've seen of this size figure that was tied in like that, and tied in very, very well too. I mean, they did go to a little bit of effort to get that to look the way they wanted to in the box. And she does look like Farrah. I mean, as much as, you know, an 8-inch figure can look like the character or the person. Although she's weird looking from the side. I don't know if you can see that. The bathing suit. There's like some plastic thing under here. I can't quite tell if it's part of the suit or if maybe that's just the plastic of the body. I don't know. There's something, like some string or something here. And I don't know what it is. I'm not going to take it off, but anyway. So, you know, she would just sit on her towel and do her famous pose or whatever. This figure's pretty cool, although I see limited playability or whatever with it I guess you could pose her like the picture if you could get this body to sit like that, which probably not since her neck doesn't move. You wouldn't be able to get her to tilt her head back, but nice figure, I like it. So then we got Marilyn Monroe, and I get the feeling she's going to be tied in there like the Farrah figure. Back just shows another view of that famous pose. Let's see what we have here. They certainly gave Farrah a lot of hair, didn't they? I mean, they didn't cheap out on that. Marilyn does have her coffin box as well, which I don't think any of the new figures don't have them anymore. She's not tied in at all. Now she comes with a pocketbook. Oh, that's nice. They actually gave a little handle on the pocketbook so she could hold it. Now that is thoughtful. Kudos, Mego. And they gave her some cat's eye sunglasses. So now we get to see if they'll fit. Let's see what we got here. So as far as the figure itself goes, she's got high heel shoes, so I'm skeptical if she's going to stand up on her own. Very skeptical. They barely fit. I don't know what it is with these female Megos and their shoes, but the shoes are like way too small for these figures. They're almost like they should be fitting Dawns or something. Now here's something else I just noticed on this. Seems to be an issue, and I think it's just this figure. I don't think it's across the board thing, and I don't think it's specifically this figure. I don't think they made it to look like this. I think it's just a bad figure. You can see her legs. You can see how the one's all like deformed. So, I mean, even if it was good, God, she's never going to stand up now with legs like that. I mean, she's all like bow-legged and stuff. But, yeah, there's no way this thing's going to stand up. Now, as far as being Marilyn Monroe, you know what? She does, it does look like her. I mean, the face is a little chunky to me, but the dress, ooh, a little revealing there. Her boob was popping out. This part here is, okay, that's interesting. They've got this like stitched around her hand, so it like always stays up. This part's fine, which good thing, because now she can hold her pocketbook. So let's see, I guess, how would you have her hold this? Like this? Like this? Okay, they gave her the thing for the pocketbook, but I don't think they really thought through how she was actually going to hold it. I mean, a woman doesn't hold a pocketbook on the back of her hand. She would hold it like this, but I don't know. I guess maybe you could put it like that. I don't know. It was a good idea, but not very well executed. Let's see if these... Oh, she has little earrings too. I didn't even see that. And they are molded into her head. They don't come off. Let's see if we can get these sunglasses on her. These are proving difficult. Alright, I can't quite get them behind her ears, but I can get them on her face, so I guess that's okay. So I'd have to knock off a couple of points for those two things, even though I was giving them extra points for them, but it's not bad. How about Alice? Now she's from the first wave, and I'll admit I actually did buy her right off the rack. Don't ask me why. But I got her on clearance, so I figured, what the hell, I can have her out of the box on display. The only one I didn't buy, well, let me go over that first. They've got Alice, Greg, and Marsha were the figures released in this series, and I didn't like the Marsha because they made her with the, oh my nose, with the broken nose and the band-aid across. I thought that was stupid. I mean, I understand what they were thinking, what they were going for, the nostalgia thing, but I don't want stupid broken nose Marsha for a figure on display. I don't know. I don't like that. I mean, if I saw it on clearance, I might buy it, but as far as I'm concerned, I thought it was stupid. Okay. Can't get under the paper here. Now this is interesting. A wave 1, and she has like a little coffin box. Okay, and here's a piece of pie just kind of laying around in there. Not tied in, but I didn't realize there were any that actually had the little coffin inside. So now Alice has flocked hair. Take a look at her. I actually think it looks a lot like her. I mean, a lot of these Alices had wonky eyes. She has a apron that does come off, and it looks like a one-piece dress that is velcroed in the front, and then she has little white work shoes, sneakery looking shoes, and pretty much same issues as all the other female figures. But believe it or not, I kind of like her. Oh, now her hands are a little loose. Now, her knees are a little loose. They shouldn't be that loose for being brand new out of the box. But that's the problem with some of these Megos too, these first ones, is a lot of the joints are, you know, questionable. I mean, if you were to play with these, they'd probably loosen up really quick. Now let's see, can she actually hold this piece of cake? The plate is pretty thin, so it's kind of hard to get her to grip it, but if you can kind of get it in her hand there, it'll stay. But she's not really holding it. See? But even with all the bad talk about some of these first wave figures, I actually kind of like Alice. Well, since we did Alice, how about we do Greg? Now the Greg figure I thought was good looking too. I thought he looked a lot like the actual actor as well. Which is funny because, you know, they have the pictures of them on here, but I kind of wonder if they paid royalties or got the licensing rights to the actors, or if there's some kind of deal where they don't have the rights to their own likeness as long as it's made as a Brady Bunch character. I mean, I'm thinking the latter, since Mego decided to use it as one of their properties. They notoriously cheap in the first bit of figures here, but at least you know, at least it looks good. Back. Greg has a coffin, and he's not tied in. Now, let's take a look at Greg first. Sculpt is really nice. Very good likeness. Body is pretty much the same as any other Mego body. Got Velcro closures, got a Hawaiian shirt and some jeans. Now this is what I thought was kind of neat. He's got tan moccasins. I don't think I've ever seen them in other colors. This is the first one I can recall that weren't in like brown. So that was a neat reuse there of original Mego stuff. For some reason he seems to have a little bit of a loose waist. I don't know why. It doesn't make much sense. More than I've noticed in any of the other figures. I don't know what the deal is like. But, you know, quality control again. But the coolest thing in this figure is, and I thought this was a great idea, was to give you the tiki idol from the Hawaiian episodes. And that's pretty neat. I like that. So he can wear it around his neck. Now, as far as it being, you know, actual size is what it was in the show, I think it's a lot bigger than it was, but I don't know, I haven't seen it in a while, so I could be wrong. But this one, I give 2 thumbs up. I love this figure. This is cool. Well, if I don't do one of these, we're going to have monsters after monsters left over at the end here. Not that that's a problem. Now here's the first release of the werewolf. Now this was, again, another Mego, hey, let's save as much money as we can on licensing. This is from some low budget, you know, like I wouldn't even call it a B film. I'd call it more like a D film. From like, I think it was from either late 50s, early 60s. It was called The Screaming Werewolf, and it was just this figure with Lon Chaney Jr. in it, and I'm sure they paid nothing for the rights to use this character in this movie. But that said, it's kind of a neat figure. When I first saw it, I thought, oh God, really? Why didn't they make the real Wolfman? Because the first monster they had was Dracula. Well, Bela Lugosi, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Again, getting around rights and stuff. I don't know why they have to be so cheap. Because they're making some decent figures overall. Coffin box. Now, let's take a look at the Wolfman, or the werewolf, whatever the hell he is. The sculpt is, it's alright. It's nothing great, but it's kind of a cool Wolfman figure. Now, they used these monkey feet from the original Mego Mugato and just painted them brown. Problem is, like, see now, it's awful loose. That's not good, because that gives you problems when you want to display them or stand them up. So they got distressed clothing and a distressed shirt up here. Looks like a copy of an old Action Jackson shirt. Maybe the fishing shirt or something. Or something close to that anyway. They gave him ape's hands with the hair. Let's see if he'll stand up with the loose feet. Yeah, he seems like he will. Yeah, he'll stand up. So, cool figure. 2 thumbs up. Well, we talked about Dracula. Let's pull out the Dracula. Now, this is from the first wave. And this is actually... oh, yeah, it is Dracula. I was thinking it was Bela Lugosi. But they actually did call it Dracula. But they got around some kind of licensing from Universal for by painting his face with the black around the eyes, which supposedly was not the movie Dracula, but something from a play or something I heard. And gray, and doesn't have the medallion and stuff like that. So either way, it's actually a really cool figure. And this was a hard one to find too, but amazingly, actually, I did find this in the first week they were out in my area in the store. There was actually a few of them. But they disappeared fast, and then he was really hard to get, and people were really complaining that they couldn't find a Dracula. I bet you there's still some people that didn't get one. Now, the other thing that was a problem with this Dracula... Oh, I guess we should look at the back. Now, the other thing that was a problem with this Dracula was a lot of people were complaining of quality control in this first wave, and you can't see his hands in here. And people were complaining that they were getting ones with like 2 left hands and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that I didn't get one like that, especially the one I'm opening. Now, no coffin box in there. This is a velvety robe, or a cape. Very nice. He's got the Mego Dracula shoes. Again, another issue here. Actually, that's the shoes that are loose, not the feet. Looks like he's on a ghostly grayish body. Yeah, the shoes they're not rubbery. They're more of a in-between plastic and rubber, so they kind of don't fit, really tight. I don't think that's a huge issue, but let's see what we got here. Oh, good. We have good hands. Oh, we got kind of monstery hands here. He's got kind of a, you can see he's got like a, like that. And this actually has buttons on it. Wow. They spent some money on this one. He's got a little separate bow tie. Not sure how this comes off. Maybe it comes off on the back. Yeah, his bow tie is actually, it's got a cord on it too, so it's a separate piece as well. He's got full suit with the cuffs. This looks like it's probably, no, that is two pieces. Okay, I think the shirt is part of the jacket, probably comes off with it. I think. No, the shirt is separate. It's underneath. The jacket comes off. I'm not going to undress him. Not sure what, is that supposed to be there, or is that part of his, is that like a pocket thing? Yeah, I think it is. Handkerchief or something. And he got a nice big cape. Yeah, this is nice. Now, of course, he has the issues with the arms. You heard that. That's when they snap out of joint when they do that. It's really hard to get his arms to go up. But it would be nice if you could do that so you could put his cape like this, you know. Let's see if we can get him to stand up. Should be able to. Yeah. Now he's a nice figure. Very nice figure. I could see why people were clamoring for him. A+ on this one. Except for the body, which is nothing I have any control over, but I'm hoping maybe they do something with that problem in the future. But definitely a very nice figure. I commend Mego on that one. Do this Charlie's Angels. This is the Chris Monroe figure that was played by Cheryl Ladd in the series, although this just coincidentally looks like Cheryl Ladd again. They're cost-cutting measures. I'll tell you, when I first heard they were making these figures, I was actually kind of excited because I'm a big Charlie's Angels fan, and I was really looking forward to getting a set of Mego instead of those terrible Hasbro figures from the 70s. But at least the Hasbro figures looked like the actresses. Okay, as usual, coffin box, coffin tray, whatever you want to call it. And the gun is taped in, but not the purse. If we can just get it out of here. There we go. So, all right, high heels that don't quite fit. Not likely that she's going to stand up long on her own. She'll probably need a doll stand. I don't understand the deal with these shoes that they designed for them that don't fit. I need to go back to the drawing board on that. As far as the figure itself, I mean, she's attractive. She has some kind of things, bands in her hair to keep this hairstyle in. I can't stand that her neck is all missing. She's looked like she's like a no-neck person. But besides that, I love her 70s pantsuit. Mego, if you're listening, longer neck. So the purse is just a solid piece of plastic that does not open. Easily goes on the figure. Let's see if she can actually hold this gun. Surprisingly, yes. So, okay. There it goes. I may have done that unintentionally when I was moving her arm. I don't think it popped out. But This figure would be perfect if the shoes fit better so she could stand up and if she had a neck. That's the only issues I have, only gripe I have with this figure. Otherwise, it's great. Alright, Sulu. Now, I did a video when these first came out, and I did open Sulu and went through him, and I already kind of went over that. Now, I also have a Chekhov. Unfortunately, I never did get a second Chekhov, so I've kind of been hesitant to open him, even though I really need to open him and put him in my Enterprise display. And I probably will, because that's what I really wanted them for, was to go, because they were the figures that Mego never made back in the day. Oh, here's the back, by the way. So this one will be going in the display, because the other one that I opened I took back because the collar was all messed up in it. And then these went on clearance, so I bought a couple of them. This one looks okay. I didn't realize it does have a little coffin box in there too. So this is what he looks like, in case you didn't see the other video. Very nice. Very true to the original figures, down to the molded in boots. The material is a little thinner and more, I don't know what you would call it, more slick than the original, but looks pretty darn good. I remember the one problem I had with the other one where the clothes were like really tight when I tried to get them off of the figure before. But seems to be okay. Typical body issues. But besides that, pretty cool. Okay, how about the Invisible Man? Now there were two, and I believe it was probably unintentional, two versions of this Invisible Man released. One has a pair of sunglasses down here, which, as you can see on the box, he's supposed to have. I think they were left out of the figures that don't have them. This is one that did not come with the glasses. I also have one with the glasses that is still carded. It also comes with a flask of something there. Here's the back. This is a cool figure because he's molded in a type of plastic, not a type of plastic, but a shade or whatever you want to call it, color of plastic that I haven't seen before in a figure, except maybe Atomic Man from G.I. Joe. Tray is not attached. This is just sitting in there. The hands are, they do have some flex to them, even though they're a very clear plastic. So he should be able to hold this without busting his fingers off. It's a tight fit, but I think I can get it in there. I'm just not going to do it right now. So I'm kind of curious if the rest of this body is clear as well. Oh, and it is. At least the legs are. Now the head is squishy vinyl, but it's like a frosted almost looking plastic. I guess it was probably too hard to do a completely clear. I mean, this looks like those clear plastic forks and spoons. That really kind of shiny, brittly material. But but like I said, they do have some flex to them. As far as the rest of the body, yeah, he's, well, yeah, it's more of a frosted like the head. So they're two different types of plastic for sure. Because the hands and the... It's kind of hard to tell if I'll pull them up. But it looks like the arms and the legs are like a very, very clear plastic, while the head and torso seems to be more of a frosted plastic. It's got a velvety tie, which is... looks like it's sewn in as far as I can tell. Velcro closures. Typical kind of weak ankles. I don't know why. These new Megos have weak ankles, some of them. But, take a quick look at him. Pretty cool though. Pretty neat figure. One that was never released before for sure. Now this is the Bewitched 2-pack. So the other two figures of the three of the series. This is Endora and Serena. Here's a look at the box art. Nothing really that spectacular to look at. Now let's see if we can get in here and open this up. Another thing about this one, I don't know if there's something in the back of this, but it sounded like there was something rattling around in the back part. But it could just be that piece of cardboard that's for strengthening of the box. Target isn't exactly careful with these things when they mail them out. No, there's something in here. Oh, it's a card. And it's saying, welcome to the new Mego Corp fan club. It goes on to talk about the original Mego. They're launching the Mego fan club. Go to Mego Toys, www.megotoys to sign up. Be the first to hear about exclusive news. And I can tell you right now, that's a bunch of bullcrap. We'll leave it at that. There's the Bewitched set. They are attached to the cards with these little plastic straps. Now you get some sunglasses here for Serena that are smushed flat. God, I'm almost afraid to flatten them out that they might snap in the middle, but they seem to have enough give to them. I don't think they will, but they're kind of really distorted, so they're going to have to be, something's going to have to be done to them to get them to fit right. You've got this guitar. That's heavy. That's a solid piece of plastic there. Nicely detailed. I mean, you know, it's nothing spectacular. It's one piece. At least it's not like horribly warped or anything. I mean, it is a little bit, but it's not that bad. It's kind of like a heavy vinyl. It's like a doorstop kind of vinyl. And Endora looks like she doesn't have any accessories. It's kind of neat. This is Samantha's living room. But let's see if we can cut these out of here. Okay, I think I have her out. Yeah. Alrighty, so here we got the two gals from Bewitched. Now, oddly enough, oh, never mind. I was going to say they don't have her mole, but there it is. It's up by her eye. Take a closer look at her. She's got rooted hair, short black rooted hair. She's got a cool mod dress on, some white go-go boots. Her cuffs are furry, velvety. Neat looking figure. Of course, it's got the same sculpt as the Bewitched because she was a identical cousin. Let's see if we can get the oh, her hair is kind of falling out. I mean, I don't know if that's just like extra pieces from when they trimmed it or if the actual hair is coming out, but there's like a big shed here on my table. It looks like pubic hair. Let's see if we can get these. These are really, well, I think I'm going to have to put these in hot water to get them to fit right, but let's see if we can get her to wear them at all. Well, not really. They're going to need some tweaking, so that's a minus there. Now, it would have been nice if they gave her a guitar strap, maybe with this. She can't really hold it well. Not really. It's really heavy, too. As far as Endora, of course, she has the horrible shoes, tie heels. They're purple, though, which is kind of neat. It reminds me of the Marie Osmond doll from the 70s with the purple shoes. And since she was sitting in the box so long, and her feet was smushed down, her heel is almost flat here. I don't know how that's going to go back. I mean, maybe it will just letting it sit, but she definitely is not going to be one that's going to stand on her own. Now, as far as her outfit, it's pretty neat. It's got this like sheer cape or whatever that she has on, and a green satin dress. And again, luckily, they managed to find a existing sculpt that could capture the essence of Agnes Moorehead. So I'd say not too bad. Probably the best of the three that were released. The hair is pretty cool. It's quite an orange. I guess you could do a Lucy figure with that hair. I wouldn't mind if they released a Lucy set. I know CTVT did them in their early days, but that was 10-15 years ago. Anyway, nice figure. Again, with all the defects of the other female figures, of course. But two nice figures, definitely. So the last one we got here is Nosferatu. Now this one is pretty cool. Now I'm kind of expecting this might be my favorite of all the ones I've opened here today. And the only thing that would make it more favorite would be if it was the glow-in-the-dark one, which I only have one of, otherwise I'd open him too, and that one is absolutely awesome. So, and I have not opened it yet. Here's the back, nothing really on there. So I deliberately bought a second one of him so I could open it. He does have a little coffin tray, and he is not held in with anything. So let's take a look at him. He looks pretty cool. He's got the Dracula shoes. He's got the kind of gray body. He stands easily. He's got cool little claw hands. Oh, sorry, I think I moved the table.
Got cool claw hands with black fingernails. And I like the way they kind of placed them in the package with the poses. That's kind of neat, rather than them just being in there. You know, basically it would have been like that. Kind of adds a little bit to them, which makes them nice to display in the box too, or the card, whatever you want. He has like a cravat or something on here. I don't know if that's a separate piece or if that's part of his shirt. Looks like it's probably part of the shirt. He's got a sleeveless shirt underneath. And he's got separate pants. And this big kind of, I don't know what you call this material. It's like suede, I guess, in a way. The sculpt is really, really cool. Oh yeah, this one, they knocked it out of the park. This is an awesome figure. This is 10 out of 10 for the figure design, and if they could keep making figures like this, which it looks like they're kind of leaning towards some of the ones that have come out, you know, like since this one, and you know, in the 2019, seem to be a step above a lot of these ones I opened were early Target ones, but since then they seem to have stepped up their game. But unfortunately, there's still some behind the scenes problems going on in that company that I don't know what their issues are, but they better get them under control or they won't be around much longer. And that would be unfortunate because, you know, they do put out a decent product when they try. So let's get these all out and take one last look at them, and we'll wrap things up here. So there you go. 18 Mego figures from 2018 and 2019. And most of them pretty good. And they will be going on display or being used for custom, depending on how many I got and if I want 2 of them on the shelf. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And there'll be plenty more videos to come. So stay tuned.